young urban professionals are running from work to a date, cooking doesn't always come first. If you plan well and you make cooking part of your lifestyle, you don't have to spend a ton of time or a lot of money on ingredients. I'm Cara Eisenpress of Big Girl Small Kitchen, the food and cooking blog. Welcome to Star Chef Secrets. Big Girl Small Kitchen is meant for 20-something cooks, or really for anyone who's dealing with limited space or time or skill or money. I started it when I was just a year out of college. I had a closet-sized kitchen. We're here today in my Brooklyn apartment where I do all of my blogging, all of my cooking, and all of my hosting. We're gonna make a Moroccan chicken stew, which is an amazing one-pot meal to serve to guests. Everyone loves it. One thing to keep in mind is that the fewer dishes you have simmering on the stove, the happier of a host you're gonna be. With Moroccan chicken stew, everything happens in one pot so that you don't have a mess in your kitchen, but what you do have is an awesome meal to serve to friends. The stew starts with a bunch of onions. I'm gonna chop 4 onions into thin slices. Nobody but your cutting board has to see you cry. So the best way that I've heard so far to avoid these tears when you're chopping onions is to stick out your tongue, which is much too embarrassing for me to do in front of all of you guys. We're gonna want about 3 big sweet potatoes, which really help to bulk up the stew. This was one of the first recipes that we put up on the blog. And we had a friend comment, how do you cut into a sweet potato? We sort of took a step back and we were like, okay, there's never really any instructions too easy to share with people. One of the secrets to a great stew is browning your meat. Putting a nice golden crust on your chicken keeps the flavor inside so that you don't end up with sort of soup chicken. Then we want it to have developed kind of a nice golden color. It'll be a little bit easy to lift off from the bottom of the pot. You start to build up this base of kind of delicious browned meat in the pan. Turn down the heat slightly, and then we're gonna add all of these onions that we chopped. It's also important always to add a lot of seasoning when you're making a big one-pot dish like this, because nobody wants to deal with chili that doesn't have enough chili powder. We've got ginger, cumin, cinnamon, nutmeg, and cayenne pepper. If you've had that cinnamon sitting around for a year, you gotta get a new one. And these are not just little sprinkles, little pinches of spice. You know, we've got a whole tablespoon of ground ginger in there. It's all happening in one pot without a lot of counter space, without a ton of prep work, and without a lot of mess. You can see that the onions and the spices have kind of left, you know, some residue on the bottom of the pan, and so the tomatoes are gonna deglaze that, which means that they're gonna lift it all up and incorporate it into the stew. Moroccans don't drink alcohol, so there's no alcohol in this stew. But wine is a great thing that you can use to deglaze. You can use either white or red. If you're stuck in your kitchen and you don't have any wine for deglazing, you can still use water. If you're making this for vegetarians, you can actually skip the chicken altogether and just put in a lot more chickpeas. And then we're gonna throw in our chicken along with all of these nice juices that have built up in the bowl. We'll add another good pinch of salt and pepper. I like to add salt at every stage of the cooking process. I taste as I go so that I don't oversalt. 4 cups of chicken stock, just until the chicken is submerged. It'll cook for an hour, and we get to take a break. You can make the stew a day or even 2 days in advance. Bring it back to room temperature, cover it, and put it in the fridge. Forget about it completely. And while you're forgetting about it, the flavors are gonna build even more. I've been chilling in the living room for an hour, and the stew's been stewing, and now we're gonna throw in the sweet potatoes. So the reason we don't put in the sweet potatoes earlier is that they'll turn into mush. So we really wanna put them in about 20 to 30 minutes before we're gonna serve the stew. We're also gonna throw in golden raisins, which give a really, really complimentary sweetness. I would say you can get 10 servings for maybe 20 bucks. There's plenty of food here for even, you know, dudes who eat a lot of food. I'm Cara Eisenpress. Thank you for watching Star Chef Secrets, and don't forget to subscribe.
Next time you're at a Mexican restaurant, order the escamoles. In English, that's ant larva. Learn more on why would you eat that. Want to up the ante on classic fried chicken and mashed potatoes? Just add cheese curds. Smash an episode of Taste Explosions together with Epic Mealtime, and what do you get? An explosion of epic proportions. Join Top Chef Kevin Gillespie in sampling the wildest bacon-wrapped hot dogs with toppings like cream cheese, scallions, and everything bagel seeds. Beer made from bull balls and grown men's beards? Get a taste of our version of food news on Food Feeder. Watch Exotic Jess take on a live octopus in the appropriately named Why Would You Eat That? Live Octopus Challenge.